Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to our witnesses. Thank you in particular to Senators Rubio and Cardin for having led this committee in such a remarkable way. As a number of our witnesses who have been doing a terrific job of being the voice of small business and of the lending community have conveyed, this is in some ways the underappreciated, unsung hero of pandemic response. In a strong bipartisan way, members like Senator Shaheen and Cardin, Senator Collins, and Chairman Rubio have worked tirelessly to put together and then deliver on a package which has made an enormous difference. There is a long road to recovery for small business and for the employees of small businesses all over our country. I hear from folks literally daily. I got several texts this morning from restaurant owners, from folks who work at restaurants, from our chamber, and from folks who represent businesses large and small in my state, asking when will Congress do another round of PPP. And I'm grateful for all who've worked on the EIDL, on the debt relief program, in particular David Brown and my team, who's really helped lead that. Thank you, Mr. Zernick, for recognizing the way in which the SBA debt relief initiative really has made a lasting difference, and I think we should extend that. But I just wanted to make sure that we drill down on just a few of these issues. Small business owners across my state, from Warren Station, a family-owned business in Fenwick Island, almost literally the southeast point of the state, to Eat Clean, which is a full-service, relatively new startup juice bar I recently visited in Wilmington, have seen on the ground the reality of what the dramatic drop in employment, in profitability, in opportunity has meant for small business employees and for small business owners during the course of this pandemic. Ms. Williams, if I might, I wanted to thank you for the way that the Opportunity Finance Network has been an engaged and effective advocate, particularly on behalf of those who make access to credit more possible, more real through CDFIs and minority serving institutions. Two frequent concerns from very small business owners relate to the complexity of applying for forgiveness and the tax consequences. I know these have been covered by other members, but these are the sorts of issues I hear day in and day out. Tell me about the importance of these concerns for the borrowers that Opportunity Finance members serve, and what you've heard so far today in this hearing about how we can address this, and quickly, in the bills that have been proposed recently.
Thank you, Senator Coons. We have heard extensively about how borrowers are concerned about the complexity associated with applying for forgiveness, and for lenders, quite frankly, who are continually getting new guidance coming from SBA and Treasury. The rules are changing, and there's been a little bit of hesitation, I think, on the part of some CDFIs to even start moving forward with their borrowers into the forgiveness process, because there is an anticipation that the rules could still change and Congress might, make a bunch of additional changes in another stimulus bill. And so I think that that uncertainty is creating a lot of hesitation, and I think it also may impact demand from small businesses, quite frankly, going forward, if they can't understand exactly how their loans are going to be forgiven, if they are facing a lot of unforeseen and unanticipated costs associated with their PPP loans that they didn't expect to have. That's going to discourage borrowers who maybe sat out the first round or couldn't get access from trying to access PPP, and also for borrowers who might be looking into a second draw. The tax implications are also of great concern to some of the borrowers that our CDFIs are encountering. And I think that, it is crucial that in the next relief bill that Congress address these issues in order to make sure that both lenders and borrowers understand the full implications and costs associated with the program and are able to enter into these PPP loans with that full understanding.
And Ms. Williams, how can we best grow the capacity of the CDFI industry and the number of CDFIs able and available to meet the needs of underserved communities and underbanked communities?
The most important thing that Congress can do to strengthen the institutions and lenders that are already working in our most underserved communities. And Congress can do that by immediately providing direct appropriations for the CDFI fund for rapid response grants. They provide critical equity capital that CDFIs then use to leverage low-cost debt from our bank and private sector partners. And this allows us to not only be able to make PPP loans, but also to provide additional products that borrowers need, like working capital, but also providing things like loan forbearance and deferrals or other emergency relief programs to help borrowers really meet their needs. And quite frankly, there are 1,100 certified CDFIs working in urban, rural, and Native communities across the country. We're ready to deliver this capital. We have the expertise. We're in the communities. We're on the ground. We know how to mobilize. And so deploying those rapid response grants to the CDFI community is a way to make sure that these federal resources are able to reach our most vulnerable businesses quickly and effectively.
I am excited about the bill that is right before us, that's been proposed by a bipartisan working group that would deliver at least $300 billion in aid. There's long been bipartisan support for a prioritized PPP or a P4 to serve the hardest hit small employers with carve-outs for small and underserved communities. It's also got some significant provisions about small business grants, addressing some of the expensing and tax liabilities, some of the overlap between EIDL and PPP that's been addressed. But I also want to, I hope we have time in future hearings to talk about the ways in which we ensure an equitable recovery going forward. Senator Scott and I just introduced the Next Generation Entrepreneur Corps Act, which would create a fellowship program with a stipend and mentorship and access to capital to hundreds of new entrepreneurs. The relief bill that's in front of us is the one I know my folks in Delaware want to see us move, so let's not miss this opportunity to make a lasting difference for the communities in need all over our country, but we also need to look forward to how we make this an equitable recovery. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for your leadership of this committee, and thank you to the witnesses today.